Use code AFTV20 for 20% off your order with Fireway Pizza. Just click the link in the description below or go to fireway.co.uk now.
AFTV, Dan, you know, I was just, as they were just working on the camera there, right, I was just sort of standing here thinking, what if we'd have won this today? This place would have gone absolutely mad, wouldn't it? I mean, you saw a couple of times in there when, it's particularly when the rumour was going around that it was 2-2, it was going ballistic in there. It would have been phenomenal, but ultimately we've come up short again.
Yeah, we have. I think I'm deflated because it kind of finally sinks in that it's not going to happen again this season. But I must say, on the 14th of April, I sat in this very position with yourself and said that Man City won the league. And unfortunately, I was right because they weren't going to lose games. And I just knew they weren't going to. And I think a lot of people didn't want to hear that. They didn't want to accept that. I understand it. No one wants to hear that. Everyone wants to hear we're going to believe and we're going to go to the final day. And we took it to the final day. And I believed that we would. And now, you know, you've got to look at that and think fair play. Liverpool have been there. Not many other people have, though, with this Man City side. So you have to look at what Arsenal have done and be happy with that. You've got to get over the line, though, and I just want this team so badly to do that with a trophy, but in particular with one of the major honours like Premier League or Champions League. And I just remember a lot of people saying, "Oh, come on, they'll drop points, believe Arsenal can go and do it." And Arsenal did it, but it weren't enough. You know, we've lost one game this whole year, calendar year.
It's mad, isn't it? One game in the year, one game. We drew one game. And that was against City.
That was City.
I mean, it is mental to, you know, you go on a run like that and you still come up short.
Yeah, very disappointing. I will say, though, that there is a lot we can improve still. And I think that one of the most positive things I heard today on what you were, I must say, they got to sort the tannoy system out in there because it's very hard to hear. It's about as bad as their Wi-Fi, I think. But I will say that one thing I did hear from Mikel Arteta was don't be satisfied.
Yeah,
we go
I
again.
love
That was class. For me, that is just what you want to hear. You don't want to hear we're really proud, this is really happy, this is where we want to be. No. I want to be saying we're proud, we're happy, but we need to be going again, and we need to get better than this. Don't be satisfied with second place. That is fantastic. That is ambitious.
You can see by how he spoke very briefly. Yeah. You could see that, you know, he's very, as well, deflated, but he knows the task ahead, and he's eager to get to work to it.
Listen, the team were really hungry for it last season and this season, and they're going to be really hurt by it. They're going to be hurt by it again. It's really important now that we look at what we need to do in the summer and we go again, because there is stuff that we can do in the summer. If you look back at this season, the squad, the reason we have played the same pretty much 13 players is because he hasn't really got the full trust of that bench yet. And I think those 4 or 5 players that need to come in that make that bench up, I think can actually do some damage next season. And I'm not meaning that we buy 5 bench players. We've got to buy a couple of players that start in the first 11, but then maybe Kai Havertz is used as a squad rotation player. Maybe Leandro Trossard becomes more of a bench player. Maybe you keep one of Smith Rowe or Vieira and one of them is still an option. Thought Smith Rowe was quite sharp when he come on. Julian Timber's come back into the mix today. Thomas Partey has hardly played all season. You start looking at it then, Zinchenko's coming off the bench. Tomiyasu was brilliant today and against Bournemouth. You start to look then and think, hang on a minute, this isn't get rid of those sort of players. They're the players you keep. Gabriel Jesus, you don't sell him, you keep him, and he becomes a squad rotation player. And there's not a set 11 every week, and we have had a set 11 every week. And I think we've got to learn off of Liverpool over the last few years, because Liverpool, what they did was they had the same 13, 14 players for 4 years, and then they just fizzled out. What we need to do is look at that and learn from it, and start to add and better that squad even time. Even if we do start winning titles.
He's kind of been doing, isn't it? Like last season, you know, when you think of it, he added Declan Rice, he added Havertz. Both of them have had a huge season for Arsenal. Both of them have made a difference, even though we've come up short. But, you know, I think he'll see that and know that, you know, a couple of good signings, you know, you never know.
Well, the last time we won the Premier League was 20 years ago, and we had a very good squad. And people forget the squad players, and they forget the important players that perhaps weren't appreciated so much. Lauren, we've now got a Ben White that people don't always appreciate. Kolo Touré, we've now got a Gabriel that some people don't appreciate. We might not have an Ashley Cole yet, we might not have a Gilberto Silva yet, and we might not have a Thierry Henry yet. Very, very hard players to get anywhere near in terms of comparison, but I think in terms of the style, we're still potentially lacking that. So go and get that left 8, go and get that centre forward, and then sort your left hand of your side of your team out, and then all of a sudden you've got a squad. Because people forget forget that Kanu and Wiltwood were on the bench for Henry and Bergkamp. People forget that we had Reyes and Fabregas and Van Persie coming through. This was a proper bench. That's what we've got to get to, and we're not there yet. And Manchester City have got a small squad, right? They've got 19, 20 players. People think they've got a 30-man squad. They don't. They've got young players that are good coming through, right? But they've got a squad of 19, 20, and they're all quality. And we've got probably a squad of about 14, 15, and we need to get to that 19, 20. So we know what we've got to do. We go again. We enjoy the break. Euros now. Hopefully we can get up for that, and then hopefully we can go again in the new season. And I just really hope and pray that this window shuts and we go, do you know what? Now we're ready to go again, man. That's what we've got to do.